Hey there, Tuberland. Ed here from Jack of All Trades. So as you can see, I've got a drill press. I've actually needed a drill press. I got tired of running over to the neighbors or the father-in-laws or whatever I needed to use a drill press. So I figured, you know what? I got a little bonus gift card dealio from the work. I'm going to spend that, and I'm going to go to Harbor Freight, and I'm going to buy myself a very inexpensive drill press just to do rudimentary stuff here in the Home Family Crisis Center, the spot in the house where everything seems to get fixed when it goes to crap. So I went and I bought myself this 10-inch 12-speed made in Cheyenne drill press from Harbor Freight. $139.99, had a coupon, picked up some other garbage that I needed, and put it together, and here it sits. So I don't do unboxings. I hate unboxings. You're going to hear me say that all the time. I absolutely despise unboxings. I don't care what the styrofoam looks like or how it was packed or how many plastic bags it came in. So I'm not going to do an unboxing, but I did do a setup video. So we're going to roll through the setup video. It's probably about 6 times speed. It actually took me about 15 minutes to set this thing up. So we're gonna speed it up so you can just kind of see how it went together. So okay, let's go to the setup video, and while you're watching that, I'm gonna drink a beer. Okay, so that was the setup video. Now let's, I'm going to grab a hold of the camera here and I'm going to do a quick walk around, and I'm just going to show you some of the things that I noticed about the drill press. First and foremost, let me say this: if you have any intentions of this being freestanding and not bolting it down or fastening it down in some way, shape, or form, get that completely out of your head. This base here is really light. There's no weight to it whatsoever, and this is really heavy, and the machine is actually quite top heavy. So get any concepts you might have of not bolting this down to your bench right out of your head. That's just not the way it's going to work. You're going to want to bolt it down. Okay, let's grab the camera. Let's do a quickie walk around here. First and foremost, let's talk about the handles. The handles are okay. I mean, they're plastic handles. They seem to go in fine. They threaded in fine. They didn't have any problems there. This little knob up here, kind of chintzy, but it does work. What I did notice is that the lid doesn't close because the spring tab here is a little wonky, and it's a little loose, and this sheet metal is that's like beer can thin. This is not heavy duty high quality stuff here, but we are talking about a $130 drill press, $139.99. If you get yourself a coupon, you can get it for less than that. You walk into Harbor Freight without a coupon, you're wrong. But you're not going to get much for 140 bucks. So just understand that this is pretty light stuff, and it's not super great. The other thing I noticed right away, and it's something I'm going to have to do, look at these belts here. You see that top belt right there? You can see how it's kind of angled down, and that is because there's an adjustment here on the motor, and you can move that motor up and down. You're going to want to make sure that that's level. This one obviously isn't level, and it is just going to wear out your belt if you leave it that way. So you're going to want to bring that, I'm going to have to bring that motor up. So that's something you're going to want to check. Very much check that, because otherwise you're just going to keep frying these belts. All right. I've already gone over the sheet metal. It's kind of nice that they put the spindle speed sticker here. That's actually pretty well thought out. The motor tensioning system, or the belt tensioning system, it's okay. It's fine. It's adequate. It's nothing super fancy. All you do is you spin these wing nuts out and loosen these up, and you do it on both sides, and you can see there the motor moved. And then to set it, I just take it, I put my thumbs on here, and I push it, and then kind of just use your fingers to snug up those wing nuts. And you do that on both sides. There's one on the right and the left. The deflection on this is, they say reasonable thumb pressure should be able to deflect at 1/2 inch. Well, reasonable thumb pressure to different people is going to be different things. So you don't want to Medilla Gorilla this thing. You want to snug it up so the belts don't slip, but at the same time you don't want it so tight. I would imagine if you had it too tight, you're going to just wear out the bearings. I'm pretty sure they've probably got cheap Chinesium bearings in this thing. So just keep that in mind. You don't want to over pressure these belts. Paint on this thing. Paint is okay. Let me see if I can get a light here. You can see right here, there's, maybe you can, maybe you can't, there's some tool marks there in the metal. It's not super great high quality, but like I said, again, you're talking about a $140 drill press here. They don't give you much for a chuck. It is a 1/2 inch chuck, but it's still a keyed chuck. It's not a keyless chuck, which is pretty indicative of what you're getting here. One thing I've noticed too is that this little doohickey jabobber thing here they've got, that's used to hold the track in place so you can run it up and down. You can't have this thing too tight. I've actually kind of kept it a little loose. They give you this cheap ass made in India Allen wrench here. You don't want this thing too tight down on here, because then when you go to rotate this table, it's going to hang up on you. and it's going to hang up, and you're not going to get full span of travel out of this thing. So don't throw away your cheap India-made Allen wrench here. You're going to want to hang on to it, because I imagine it's going to be years before I get this adjusted to the point where I can spin it all the way that I want it. And you can see it's fairly loose, and that's just kind of bothersome to me. Again, I will reiterate, we are talking about a $140 drill press. If you're looking for super high quality stuff, you're not getting it here. So anyway, it works, it's functional, it's not super stellar. Just don't have high expectations, all right? That's kind of annoying, but it's no big deal to push that and close it up, and it's closed. It's got a nice ring to it, you know, that cheap beer can tin foil metal we got going on there. The table itself, again, it's very cheap, it's very light. I don't even know if it's steel. I know Ed's got a magnet in the toolbox here. Yeah, there we go. There's a magnet. There's a magnetometer. Oh, it is. It's actually ferrous metal. So it's just really light ferrous metal. And the base is metal, is steel too. So they're not aluminum. That's surprising. As light as they were, I couldn't hardly tell. Surface on the work table isn't terribly smooth, but then again, it doesn't really have to be. So that's really not a deal breaker there. They've got a little gauge here, little depth gauge here. See if I can get you a shot of this. They had somebody stick a sticker on here, and I guess whatever, it is what it is. I guess it'll function well enough. Well, actually, it's not a sticker. It's riveted into place. Inches and millimeters. So there's 0 inches. We'll lock her down, and there she be. She be locked down. Okay. The next thing I want you to see. I'm gonna get the light turned on my little stand here. And the Lord said, "There shall be light." Okay. So take a look at this cheap-ass made in Taiwanese switch here. It's not even sitting flush in the housing. It's kind of sitting all cattywampus, cock and doodles here. You can kind of push it in, and it just doesn't sit in there very straight, and it's not very well mounted. I imagine someday I'll take this cover off and take a look, and while we're looking at it, look here, right here, it's kind of neat. Right there at that screw. I don't know if you can see that or not. The cover is actually cracketed right there at the top. Whoever screwed this together, there's a little crack in the top of the cover there. So again, no high expectations from your Central Machinery 12-speed drill press. I have no doubt this thing will get the job done, but there's just some little quirky stuff that's kind of annoying. Right here is your tensioner for your up and downy thing. Well, I got my lock on, I can't move it. Right there is your tensioner for your uppy downy. So when you let go of the handle, the uppy downy goes up, and it goes up all on its own. Now that came on mine, that came loose, and I imagine it's probably loose. Had I read Central Machinery's destruction book, which I didn't read the destruction book, I kind of just threw it off to the side because I'm a man's man and I don't need to read instructions. You are going to have to set that tensioner up. Now what I did was I turned it until it brought it up, and then I just went to the next notch. And then when I did that and I started working the up and downy thingy, I noticed that the spring was squawking and squeaking like it was about ready to go into orbit. So I backed her off a notch, and it still comes up and it still bumps to the top like it's supposed to. I just didn't this cover is, I don't know what that cover is. I don't know if it's plastic. It might be some kind of cheap plastic. I don't know. It certainly isn't metal, but it sounded like that thing was about to explode wildly in my face and cost me my vision. So I backed off her a notch, and it's fine. It doesn't need to be any tighter than that. It was making some pretty crazy noises. What else have we got? Don't forget to tighten these 2 screws here, or these are 2 Allen set screws, because they lock it down to the post shaft. Here's a neat thing. Let me go over to this side over here. This is pretty cool. You're going to like this. There's no system to lock this pole into the base, and with everything locked down, you can actually turn the whole shaft in the base. So I'm going to have to do some researchism and take a looky at that and see if there's some way that that's supposed to tighten down. But that's pretty cool stuff right there. It just kind of turns in the shaft, and I'm pretty certain that that's probably supposed to be locked down. So I'm going to have to bust her back apart and take a quick gander at that. Might have to put a little bit of crazy glue, strong enough to hold this man in midair. Might have to put a little of that or something in there to keep it from turning. I do not like the fact that it turns. I don't think it's supposed to even. So we're going to do a little researchism on that, and we'll figure out what's going on. Other than that, yeah, it's a $140 drill press. It turns on, it turns off, it goes down, it goes up, just like it's supposed to. So everything is all hunky-dory. Oh, the table tilter. This is some pretty nice stuff. You're gonna like this. Let me get this over here. Take a looker here, right? So the little adhesivism that they've got on the old sticker here to tell you where you're at 0. That's some super high quality precision measuring whatchamajiggers right there. I'm certain that that's not going to fall off in the next 15 seconds. So don't know how good that is, but this is even better yet. If you do want to change the angle of your table there, you got to loosen up that bolt, which means you have to have a wrench. There's no little handle there or anything like that. I think in the world of Ed, we're going to probably have to change that, because yeah, to have a wrench out there every time you want to change it, that's just kind of ridiculous. Let me see, what else was on here? This handle here it's also very plastic. I expect that handle to probably last 25 seconds. It'll probably fall off right after this sticker. When you're putting the set screw in here, I wouldn't get too Medilla Gorilla on this thing and torque her down too tight, because she ain't going to like it. There's quite a bit of slop in that worm gear as well. So yeah, don't be expecting too much great things on that. There again, you know, it comes down to this collar. You can take that slop out by snugging this collar down. And there's some of the slop is gone. Some, not all, some, but then you can't turn the table. But you can sure turn the whole thing. It rotates on that post, which is pretty slickism. Yeah, other than that, it's a $140 drill press. So what are you gonna say? For 140 bucks, it's gonna drill in a pressing motion, which is exactly what it was designed to do. So take into account those things that I was showing you. Don't have super duper high expectations. This is probably going to be one of these tools that my kids will inherit. It may be built cheaply, but it'll probably last longer than I will. Expect to have to do a little tweaking and a little adjusting here, there, and the other, and just expect that, because it's going to be a fact of life. That's the Central Machine 10-inch 12-speed drill press, benchtop drill press. I needed a drill press. I didn't need one so badly I needed to spend $300 on it, but I figured $140 would be well worth it. And like I said, the machine will probably outlast me, and that's just fine. So there it is, the Central Machine 12-speed 10-inch drill press. It is a drill press and it should drill. Some of the things I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to upgrade the chuck. This is a keyed chuck, and I'm not a real big fan of keyed chucks because I always lose the damn key, and then I'm screwed. And so I'll probably change this keyed chuck. I'm going to level this motor out so the belt sits level, and I'm not tearing up my belts, and I'm going to figure out why this post rotates inside of the base, and I don't think it's supposed to do that. I'm pretty sure that's not correct. While the video was doing a little editing here, as I did pull this shaft back out, it's not threaded, it's just set in there. So I'm going to end up drilling a hole and putting a set screw in here so it doesn't rotate. There's no threads, there's no nothing. It is just literally set into place, and as hard as I can look, I can't find any kind of a set screw anywhere on this thing to snug her down and keeping her from going off into the wild blue yonder. So it's totally relying on the weight of the machine to stay in there. So that's going to have to be an alteration and a fix. The other thing I'm going to put on it here is I bought one of these cheap made in China, China, heavy duty construction, replaceable heat treated jaws, bolt down slots, 4-inch drill press vise. Again, I bought this at the Catastrophe store, Harbor Freight. I give them crap, but I buy a lot of tools at Harbor Freight, and they do just fine for what I do. But so me giving them crap, don't take that bad. You got low expectations. You just go there and you get what you need. But I bought this vise at Harbor Freight the same time I bought the drill press. I'm going to throw that on there because I'm not a real big fan of turning my workpiece into a helicopter and filleting myself open. So I'm a big proponent of having a vise bolted down. Here's the neat thing. Line the slots up on this side. They don't even come close to lining up on that side. That's what I think about that. I mean, really, you couldn't make a vise or have a vise that's recommended for this. No matter how you turn it, you have to put it cattywampus, cockeyed to the world, to get some bolts lined up in the slots here to use the damn thing. So I don't know. I guess this is going to be a clamp it on the table kind of vise. That's not going to be a bolted on the table kind of vise. Just not a high class piece of equipment you got here. Oh yeah, except okay, it fits the slots there, but it doesn't fit on that side. So no matter what you do, other than putting it cattywampus to the world, you're never going to get the slots to line up. So take that into account if you're thinking about this Central Forge 4-inch bench vise for the 10-inch belt or the 10-inch drill press. It's not going to work. I'm also thinking I'm going to get a couple of vice grip clamps that you can clamp right on the table. They've got a nut that goes through the slot, and that'll help clamp your work down too. So worst case scenario, if this thing turns out to be a bust, it's a great place to set your pier. Yeah, it is what it is. $140 drill press from Central Machine. I hope this was helpful for you. Hope it helps you make a decision. If you're looking for precision equipment, if you're looking for equipment that is super high quality, this isn't the machine for you. Get yourself a DeWalt or a Cryobi or something else. But if you're looking for something that'll do the job with a reasonable degree of accuracy, and it's probably always going to turn on for you, this should suit you just fine. Just know what you're going into it. Keep your expectations at reasonable levels, and for a $140 drill press, expect that that's what you're going to get. Again, if you're looking for some super high precision stuff, if you're working on the next spaceship that's going to launch us to Mars, this is not the machine that you want to use. So anyway, Ed here from Jack of All Trades. I hope this was helpful for you, and we'll catch you on the next video. Cheers.